Hey loves, and welcome back to my channel. It's Ijoma here, and this is our tutorial for today. This is a style request. Like about 3 persons requested for this style, more than three, and I decided to make a tutorial on it. Now we are going to learn how to make this slash and spread top with an asymmetric neckline and a slitted front. Okay, the hemline is also asymmetric. Everything about this dress is almost asymmetric. Now this is the pattern we are using, just basic bodies, but you can see the front is way longer than the back, but the full normal full length is 24, but I added extra 10 inches to the front. Nothing much, just add extra 10 inches to your front basic bodies, and it should be on fold. When you are drafting, your front should be on fold, but for the back I did not cut it on fold. So you can see my front, if I open it up, it is on fold. It is just basic bodies, 3x3 neckline. The back is 3.3 by 1.5. You can see the full length of the back is the same with the full length of the front before the extension. You can see that they are 24. Then the other one has 10 inches extension. The front has 10 inches extension. Nothing much, just your basic bodies, so that this tutorial will be fast. Now I will open this up and I will start with the front. If I open my front, the first thing that I will do is to extend my half length line, my chest line, and my full length line, so that I will not be confused. Okay, so now I have opened up my paper, and this is an asymmetric top. That is the reason why I said you should draft on fold. After opening the top, I'll extend the lines, and I'll extend this dart line. The dart that we are working with is the one on the left hand side, and this dart is at the left hand side. So from the full length, I came down by 8 inches, and from that 8 inches I connected to the right hand side. This slash and spread is on the left side, so I connected to the right hand side, and I did not add any darts at that right hand side. It is not really necessary. Maybe you can use bust darts. Okay, now from the normal full length, from the 24 inches, come up by 3 inches, and this is where your slit will stop at. Our slit will stop at there, and the other length of this blouse will stop at the normal full length. So I will cut here that I'm shading, and I will cut this normal full length. So now you can see that the full length of the left hand side is not the same with the full length of the right hand side. The right hand side is longer than the left hand side, so this is where the full length of the left hand side stopped. It is short. Now you will cut out your slits, you open your slits, because this slit will be very close to your half length. The slit of this blouse will be close to your half length, so I opened up the slits a little more. Now after opening up the slits, I will go ahead and trace out the curve of the left hand side. So this left hand side, from the left hand side, you come down by 1 inch from your bust point, 1 inch below your bust point, and you curve it. You can see the way I'm tracing it. Come down by 1 inch and you curve. If you want, you can leave it at your bust point. It is okay. For me, I left it at my bust point. I didn't come down, because if I come down, it will be too low. But if you want, you can come down by 1. So now I'll cut off the dart on paper. I will have to cut out this dart on paper. I don't really need it. And now this is what we have. I had to cut out the dart on paper, and I curved from my dart line to the side line at the bust point. You can see I connected from that dart line to the bust point. Now for the neckline, come down by 6 inches. At the right hand side, come down by 6 inches and connect the V to the left hand side. So the neckline is facing the right hand side. Then from that 6 inches that we came down by, we are going to mark a straight line. Let me cut out the asymmetric V neckline first, so that you understand. So you can see what I have right there. Now I don't want to leave this neckline like this. If you check it very well, they attached it like a yoke. So from that place that I came down by 6, I'll mark a straight line and then cut out this one, and I'll label it as my yoke. So I'll go ahead and cut out this one as the yoke. Now this is all. We are still going to do slash and spread on this bigger one. So now this is the bigger part of this blouse. The smaller part, I have cut it off and I don't have to touch it. So I'm marking my lines, and these lines will start below the bust point and it will stop around the full length. Okay, so for this neckline we are going to cut a facing, so I wrote facing there so that we remember to cut a facing for that neckline. Okay, we'll keep that one aside and draft our sleeve. For the sleeve, I don't want to cut it on fabric. I'm trying to manage that particular fabric. It's really small. I don't know if it is up to 1.5 yard. Now I will mark my curve and I will mark my sleeve. Okay, so I will curve into the 5 inches that I came down by, and I'll take my sleeve measurements: 14 divided by 2, 12 divided by 2, and 8 divided by 2, and I marked them respectively and connected. So we are just drafting a basic sleeve, just a normal sleeve. Okay, now we are done with the sleeve part. The next thing that I am going to do now is to cut out the bigger part of that front. That bigger part of the front has slash and spread. Okay, so open up your fabric. You don't have to cut it on fold because the front is already 2 pieces. Open up your fabric, place your paper on top, and you will start slashing. So you start slashing from the curve part to the side of your blouse, and you will not cut through that side of the blouse. Just stop very close to the side. You can see how I'm slashing that paper from that curved side towards the waist, towards the side seam. So this side that I'm coming towards is the side seam. You can see our neckline, and I also cut off that yoke part of the neckline. So now I want to do slash and spread first. After slashing, I will spread with 1 inch. Okay, I'll go ahead and spread by 1 inch. They will be 1 inch apart from each other, so that the gathers will not be too much. So take your time and arrange it. You don't need to do too much. Just go ahead and arrange and measure using your tape. You measure to check if they are up to 1 inch. Okay, so now they are up to 1 inch, and I'll start adding my seam allowance. I will add 1 inch allowance around the slit area. Then for this slash and spread area, also notch indicates where the slit to stop at. Then continue adding 1/2 inch allowance towards the remaining part of that top of that curved side. So this 1/2 inch is the joining allowance. I will use it to join it to the smaller part of the blouse. At the full length, I added 1 inch allowance. At the side, I added 1 inch allowance. You can make it 1/2 inch if you're using a stretchy fabric. Okay, now this is the remaining parts of the armhole and neckline. We also have allowance. You add 1/2 inch allowance to the neckline and to the shoulder area. Now we are done. The next thing is to cut. After cutting this front, I will cut the smaller part of the front. The front has a big part and a smaller part. So this big part is the part that you do your slash and spread on. Then after cutting it, you will keep it aside. Notch where your slit to stop at. You can see I'm notching there. Then cut out the small parts. Okay. Now I am done cutting it out, and I'll gather it a little on table so that you can see what it looks like. So now this is the place that will gather a little along that curved part, and you can see the slit area. Right now we are done with this one. The next thing that we are going to do is to cut out the smaller part of this front of the front piece, because almost every job on this dress is at the front, and this top is really beautiful. Now this is the smaller part of that blouse, and I'm adding 1/2 inch at the joining area, at the gather area, then 1 inch at the hemline and 1 inch at the side seam. Remember your slit, so I notched where my slit to stop at. Also, it is important. Now this is the smaller part of that blouse. You get the bigger part of it and place around it. So this is the bigger part of it. I marked this chalk on the right side. Now this is how we are going to gather. When you gather and reach where you notched your slit, you will stop. So this is the notching of my slit. So from there, I will do my gathering. Now I will use my pin to pin it down before joining. Okay, so pin that slitted in that place that you slit. Remember to notch it. Pin the notched areas together. Then at the end of that, around that bust point area, pin the side to that small piece. Okay, so that is it for now. I'll open it up and then I'll go ahead and gather the remaining parts. You can run a stitch and draw your gathers anyhow you want it. You can pleat anyhow you want it. You can do that to make it match, right? So now we are done with the smaller part. Next thing that we are going to do is to cut out the yoke part. One part of this neckline is not there, one part of the shoulder is not there yet. If you want, you can leave your neckline without cutting it off, but cutting it off will give you a better fitting and balance. So now, using this smaller piece of fabric, I will get the yoke paper, that paper that I labeled as yoke, that paper that I cut out from that neckline. I'll place it, and you can see the neckline area is at the folded part of that fabric. Now, this is what we are going to use as our yoke. We are going to get our front neckline, and we will attach it there. We will attach it from where we cut it off from earlier. So this is where we cut it off from earlier, and we will attach it around there. Now, after doing this, the next thing that we are going to do is to cut out a facing for the neckline. We have not really cut out our facing. So after attaching this yoke, you will use your facing to turn it, like to turn your neckline. It will give your neckline a clean finishing. Now, this is the fabric that I have, and I don't need to fold it because the neckline is asymmetric. You leave your fabric open like this. The fabric will be open, then you will get the top, the front of the top, and then cut out the neckline, and then the yoke will be like 2 or 3 inches wide. Okay, so now I am done. The facing will be 2 or 3 inches wide. So now I am done cutting out my facing. I'll place it on top of the neckline. So that yoke, that one that I labeled as yoke, will be in between the facing and the neckline. I will use my facing to turn it, notch, and then top stitch. After doing that, I'll come back and show you guys. Then for the side, we are going to gather the side too. So I want to do everything once I get to my machine, right? Now that is it for the front. To the back, we are going to cut out the back pieces. They are just normal back pieces. We'll cut out our back pieces, we will cut out our dart, and then our sleeve. Done cutting out the facing of the back, we'll go ahead and turn the front, hem our sleeve. We are done cutting out the sleeve too. We will hem our sleeve, shape it, and iron. So now we are done hemming the sleeve, we are done shaping the sleeve, and For the front, we are done joining the gathered area, we are done turning the facing, we are done top stitching, and I ironed everything properly. Now I've added that to my back pieces. I will go ahead and add the facing to each of them. So these are my pieces. So these are the facing. You add your facing and turn your back neckline with facing. If you want to use bias, that is still okay. Now this is the front. We are done doing the gather, so you can see that side. You can see our neckline has taken shape already. Now you can see our slit area. For me, I feel like this slit is not that high the way I wanted it, so I went ahead to open that place up a little. Now you can see the allowance. After gathering, any allowance that is remaining, you will fold it in and iron. So you can weave and then use hemming gum to fold it in if you don't want to run a stitch on it. But the original picture, they ran a stitch on it. Like you will weave the allowance, and after weaving the allowance, you will stitch it down. But if you don't want to stitch, you can use hemming gum to hold everything down. Okay, so this slit, I don't think I like the width of my slit. I had to like open it up a little so that it will be higher. It will be really close to my half length. Now I'll go and use my iron to iron that place very well. We are done with the back. To think that this is an illustration, it is looking so neat, like I'm wearing it. It is an illustration with a piece of fabric. Now I am done. I'll go ahead and turn my neckline using the facing of the back. Okay, so you can see the hemming of the front. I used hemming gum to hold it down, but if you are wearing it, you weave everything before you use hemming gum to hold them down. Okay, now at the end of the day, this is what I have. I will go ahead and trim my armhole. I'll trim my armhole, the both armhole, then I'll fix my sleeve. That is all. You don't need to do much. Okay, and this top is looking really good. This fabric is not really stretchy. It is a lining, but it looks good. It is just lining, cotton lining. I don't know what to call it, but it is lining. I be crepe, I don't know what to call it, but it is lining. It feels like junkoso or senator material. Yeah, so that's it. After attaching our sleeve, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So I'm trying to make sure that my armhole is in place before attaching this. Now at the end of the day, this is what I have. I hope our tutorial is helpful, and do not forget to subscribe. It's Ijama here. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Do not forget to like. How can you watch and not subscribe? Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you all. Do not forget to like and share so that more tailors can see this. Bye.